We started in 2016, 5 years old, and yeah, it's going well. We've expanded through the country, internationally, and we got a lot in the pipeline. I think we're definitely grabbing the attention of the competition, like the big players. So I think within the next 4 to 5 years, I think we'll be at that stage where we can ask for, you know, a decent price.
Yeah, basically.
I think in the food and drinks business, I think a reasonable valuation would be a 10x on what your profit is annually. And the year just finished. Last year we done just over £1 million profit in head office. Okay. So the end of this year we're going to add another 50 stores. So you're looking at double that. So 2 million net profit, 10x multiplier, 20. About 20 at the moment. But like I said, we're still in the infancy, so it wouldn't make sense to think about selling it at this point. My idea at the time was, you know, you have your own business, you wake up when you want, go to sleep when you want, do what you want. Ironically, I found out once I was, you know, a couple years in that it was the exact opposite. I wanted to wake up when I want, and then having a business, I realized that I hardly slept because there was too many things to do, too many things to worry about. So ironically, it was the exact opposite of what I anticipated. But having said that, you know, it's gone well, and I wouldn't have changed it. I would say it was from there because I went to secondary school. All my friends went to the school in Wimbledon. And me and maybe 3 friends went to another school a bit further away, and they split us up into different classes. So I didn't know no one, and selling sweets was my kind of way of, number one, making a bit of money, but number 2, sort of socializing. So that went well, and I think that's where it kind of grew from. I would say that from selling sweets in school, that's where it started, in my opinion. Looking back at it, that's probably, you know, that kind of trying to make money, not like millions, just like it was more of the fun of making the money than the actual money itself.
Process of it, yeah. Also getting the money,
Yeah, it was more of like the process and buying things and selling. I'm Italian, so my nan came over from Italy when she was 18 with like £20 in her pocket. 1950. She worked as a cleaner, and then she saved up some money, opened a cafe. Then sold it and opened another cafe, and that's what she did. But pizza, obviously being Italian, pizza, pasta, food in general, has always been that kind of, you know, a main part of the culture. And my nan always used to say there's 2 businesses that, you know, you'll never run out of customers. One is food and one is funerals. I was looking for a franchise myself, had some money saved up and was going to open a Subway, and then at the last minute, after doing all the calculations and how much you can make and, you know, how many other Subways there are around, and I just kind of just at the last minute changed my mind. Pizza's been voted the most popular takeaway food for the last few years. So I think, you know, the market is there, but with anything, you have to come with something different. In my opinion, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's food and drink, you know, construction, health and beauty, clothing, digital, regardless what industry you're in, as long as you come with something different and you put a twist on it, and you stand out from the competition, there's no reason why you won't succeed, in my opinion. I think the main thing is, you know, people got to be hardworking. I think a lot of people go into business thinking that it's going to be easy, even myself included, and you don't realize till it's too late. And you got to remember that, you know, they're using our name and our reputation. So I think people need to be hardworking. You know, I speak to a lot of people, they want to get into business, they want to do this, they want to do that, but then when it actually comes down to it, and it comes down to the obstacles and the sacrifices. You know, sacrifices was a big part of it. And when they say I want to open a business or I want to have a franchise, but I also want to go gym 4 times a week. I also want to go raving Friday and Saturday. I also want to go on holiday 4 times a year. I also want to do this and do that. Then really you don't want it. You know, they might say they want it and they want to do, you know, they want to have a business, they want to do this, but when they really, you know, ask themselves how much you want something, because it's not easy and you need to be consistent. You know, it might not be successful straight away, but if you're consistent over time, you know what they say, if you hang around a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a trim. When I first started the business, it was to make money and to sleep all day and not have to wake up, you know, whenever I had to go to work. But ironically now, it's the exact opposite. The money part is there, and I remember people saying to me, you know, other business people at the time, when I'd meet them at various events, they would say like, don't focus on the money. You know, the money will come. Don't focus on the money. And it's all well and good people telling you that, but at the time when you don't have money, your focus is money, because unfortunately, you know, we live in a society that you need money to survive. Not necessarily money makes you happy, but it does to a certain degree. Yeah. You know, and that was the aim. But then as I've progressed, and as I've grown, it's not about the money. I think you need a certain amount of money to be happy, but it's not millions, it's not billions. It's, I would say, like 100 grand a year, and you can get that with a decent job. You need to be comfortable before you spend that kind of money. I think now that I've got like a couple of properties and a couple of nice cars, then, you know, and that's when I decided to buy that car. You need to be comfortable. I don't think you can put, you know, I think people say once you can afford it, you know, twice or 4 times, then that's when you can. But I think, because you just need to be sensible, innit? You need to be sensible, because tomorrow if something was to go wrong, and I worry a lot, you know, I'm optimistic, but at the same time I worry a lot. So I think and work out if there's any possibility that, you know, something could go drastically wrong tomorrow, then driving around in a Rolls Royce is going to be pretty pointless. When I was interviewing possible, you know, CEOs to take over my role, for me to step back a bit, they were asking for like 150, 200 grand a year. And then I'm really thinking, for me, 150, 200 grand a year, I'm thinking I'll do it myself. But you got to remember, it's an investment. When you're bringing someone in, it's an investment. You're not doing it, you know, just so you can go and have a rest. You need to do it as an investment, and what then people can bring to the company. You know, I think it's important to have a good team. I don't think you can do everything yourself. And ironically, that's what I thought having a business was about in the beginning, doing everything yourself, you know, but you can't. Number one, you can't, because you can't have the skill. Not one person can have all the skills required to run a successful business. But number two, you can't, because you won't sleep, you'll just burn out. I think you just need more time to yourself. I think as you get older, it's not all about, you know, making money. There's no point being the richest man in the cemetery. So I think you need to, you know, take time off and recover. And on top of that, you know, you've got to be honest, there's people out there with a lot more experience than me. And I think there's different parts to a business. There's the first parts, you know, some people are great at making businesses, creating them. And I've taken it to 100 stores. But then there's other people that take companies from 100. They might not be good at creating companies or starting brands, but they take it from 100 to 500 stores, you know. And then there's other people that only come in and take businesses from 500 to 1,000 stores. You know, our competitors have over 1,000 stores. So we're very, very early on in the business. But I think they'll get to a point where you yourself as a CEO can even hold back that business, because it's great saying, look at me, Mr. CEO, but is that what's best for the business? And the answer can be no. We opened last week, and so far so good. You know, they're averaging about 150 pizzas a day. So it's good for a brand new thing, because you got to remember it's brand new. There's no one's heard of it. So in that respect, it's gone very well. But I think you have to be careful, like you say, what you do there, because doing a grow in that shop, you know, it probably would have been a different. People actually genuinely thought it would have a proper grow. So I think you have to look at the local culture, look at the community, and decide what's the best route. But the plan is we've got more shops opening there by the same owner, 5 shops within the next 2 years.
Has that guy taken Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
South Holland and North Holland, and another small town called Utrecht. So that's under construction. On top of that, we've got people out in India. So we sold the master franchise for India, for most of India, Canada, New Zealand, France, Germany. I think that's it. And we're talking to someone in UAE. Once this one is, you know, fully, we're looking at different options, whether an IPO, like listing it on the stock market, or selling a piece of it, or, you know, but like I said, right now we're growing rapidly, and it would be the wrong time to, unless the offer was ridiculous, then it would be the wrong time to even contemplate, you know, selling it.
So with everything that's going on, 6 years deep into this game alone, what does it mean to you to be a CEO, to be an entrepreneur?
Right now, it's a lot different than when I started, as I said. But right now, it's just about bringing people together and making key decisions. But in the overall bigger picture, I would say that myself, I'm a very, very, very small part of the entire business. You know, I think you need to get to the point where you are a very small part of the business, because then technically you've created a business, you know, but it's not just about me going around saying I'm Mr. Fireaway, you know. I would prefer that the business runs without me, not that, you know, I'm the business. I don't think, unless you're not interested in doing other things, or because I go to food places all the time where the food's like amazing, you know, and I say and I introduce myself to the guy and to the owner, and I say like, this can like blow up, like you could expand, like, but they say I don't want to. I'm happy with this, you know. Some people, it's not all about, you know, making millions.
Yeah.
If you're happy and comfortable, then there's nothing wrong with that, you know. If you've got one shop and you're making a decent amount of money, then who's anybody else to tell you, no, you should be making like millions, you know. If you're happy, I think the main aim is to be happy, isn't it? It's not about money, because as I said, money is infinite. It goes on and on and on, and therefore your target will go on and on and on, and you'll never reach your target. You just end up, you know, being the richest man in the cemetery, which is pointless.